Hello, Pickled Onion Knight here, and I'm here to review a new thing that I've bought. Now, if you've been watching my channel for some time, and by some time I mean 18 months ago, you may have seen a video I did reviewing the Pokemon Go Plus. Now, if you didn't see that, what this is, and if you don't know what this is rather, is a small little device that basically enables you to play Pokemon Go a little bit easier. And it's a Bluetooth device. It links to your phone. It works with the app, and you press the button to catch Pokemon, collect from Pokestops, that sort of thing. Now, what I've bought recently is this other thing, and it's called the GO-Tcha. It's made for Pokemon Go. It is an unofficial product, and it's by Daytel Electronics, who you may have heard of Daytel if you own an Action Replay cartridge. They made them as well. They made numerous Action Replays, cheat devices, things like that. And that's what they're famous for. Now, I thought I'd do a little video on this because, well, nobody's really talking about it, and I think there's probably two reasons for this. The main reason is that a lot of people aren't playing Pokemon Go anymore. I sort of haven't really been playing it, I'll be honest with you. And the other reason is I think a lot of people don't actually know about this. So what it is, it basically works along the same way, but it's different in a few key areas that I'm going to go into. So the first thing is probably to just say what you actually get when you buy the thing. And by the way, this is slightly cheaper than the Pokemon Go official device. I paid, I think it was £28 something I paid for this, including shipping. So including delivery, it was about £28. The Pokemon Go Plus, which is the one I previously showed, is still about £35 if you can find it new at retail. It is going for slightly more than that on eBay, but you can still buy one if you want one. So the GO-Tcha was slightly cheaper, but like I say, I'll go into what you get for that money. Well, you get the device itself, which is this thing here, the GO-Tcha, which is it's got one push button here and a sort of LED screen display there. You get this snazzy wristband, which only comes in one design. What it reminds me of, there was these watches you used to get in the 90s, and I forget what they were called. But the watch was digital watch was basically like a pellet thing, and you could buy all these extra straps that fitted it. In fact, it's probably that exact design, provided my memory's not letting me down. So yeah, you get the sort of wrist strap thing here. You get the charging USB cable thing here, that you take the device itself out of the wristband and put it in here, which charges on any USB. And you don't so much get an instruction book as this little sort of card, but what you can do is go online to the website and look at the instructions there. What else? Oh, there's a big sticker here that says important, blah 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 blah, you must charge it before you use it. Yeah, all that sort of legal stuff there. So I'm just going to explain, after using this, how it compares, after using the GO-Tcha, how it compares to the original Pokemon Go Plus. So the first difference is obviously the hardware. Now, I'll go into some of the benefits and some of the drawbacks. The benefits first, with the way the thing actually works. Now, what this does that the Pokemon Go Plus doesn't do is that you can set it up, and once you've deciphered what all the things mean, which you are going to have to refer to the instruction book on the website to know what everything means, you can set it up so that it can do pretty much everything automatically. It can catch Pokemon automatically. It can collect from Pokestops automatically. What else does it do? It can tell you if the Pokemon you've caught is a new one. It can tell you, or you can set it up so that if it's a new Pokemon you haven't caught before, it will catch it, and if it's one that you have caught before, it won't, and things like that. You can sort of fiddle with it to set it up to the way you want it. But you are going to have to refer to the website to see what all the symbols mean, because it's all sort of, it's like washing instructions. Once you know what the symbols mean, you're well away. Until then, you're going to have to sort of learn them. Now, I find this reasonably intuitive to learn. It also has a vibration function, but I haven't... After a few hours of using this, walking around the place, I found that I did have to keep looking at the screen to see what the vibrations meant. The vibrations that it sends off for each particular action it does. For instance, with the Pokemon Go Plus, it was very quick to learn from the vibration alone what had actually happened. Whether I'd caught the Pokemon, whether it had got away, etc., etc. And how many items I got from the Pokestop and this, that, and the other. Now, this also has a vibration function, but they're not as pronounced, the vibrations. You really have to pay attention to what the vibrations are trying to tell you. So, as I was using it, I found it much easier to just look at the screen and go, oh, that's what it is. The other drawback, the difference between this hardware and this hardware, is that while there is a wrist strap that comes with this, and it is quite bulky, presumably if it's on your wrist, but what I like about this is it has a belt clip as well. So I can actually clip it to I could clip it to a belt if I wanted to. I can also clip it to a pocket or a lapel or something like that. You can pretty much clip it to anything, that's no thicker than standard denim, I would say, and it'll work perfectly well. Whereas this, you have to have it on your wrist. Now, this might be fine for most people if you wear sort of quite a loose-fitting jacket or a loose-fitting shirt, but you see, if you spot here, like around my wrist, even that is quite pronounced, the way that sticks out of the clip here. It does stick out quite a lot. Now, the jacket I wear has zip-up sleeves, and that was an issue as I was walking about. See, as I was trying to get the thing out of the jacket, it kept getting caught on the sleeve and things like that. So I would rather it had a belt buckle. And to be perfectly honest, if I have to wear something around my wrist, it would be really handy if there was a clock on it. Because I kept looking at this thing, and it's like, well, it would be really nice if there was just a clock on here or something. I mean, I think they've missed a trick with that, to be honest. But yeah, I wasn't totally comfortable with the way that is so pronounced out of there. So that is one drawback that I've found so far. But what I will say about this is it pretty much does anything automatically. So I dare say once you've learned what it's actually doing and can learn to decipher the vibrations that it does make, you probably will look at it less. Now, as far as usability is concerned, I still had to have all the same stuff turned on my phone. So I still had to have the Bluetooth turned on, I still had to have the location turned on, I still had to have 4G turned on, and that's pretty much a given even when you're playing Pokemon Go without using one of these accessories. So that's okay, that's absolutely fine. And to be perfectly honest, I think it's my phone that has the issue rather than any of the hardware, because I noticed the same thing with the Pokemon Go. The connection would drop out periodically. So every now and then, for some reason, it would just lose connection. Now, I think this is an issue with my phone. In fact, I'm pretty certain it was, because it does the same thing with the official Pokemon Go Plus device. The difference being, is that when this one loses connection, it tells you. So you get a big long sort of dull vibration to tell you that it's lost connection, and if you're looking at it, a big red light comes on, flickers on and off to tell you that it's lost connection. This does nothing. This doesn't tell you when it's lost connection, so you could be potentially wandering around for half an hour before you realise that it had actually lost connection with the app and you'd missed loads of stuff. So that would be something. Now, I don't know if there's any way to improve that, and because this is an unofficial product, I presume that although it works on the same technology, the auto catching mechanism and things like that it uses might not be updated in a future update of Pokemon Go. So that is another thing to bear in mind. I assume this one will be supported pretty much forevermore, for the lifetime of the app. Some of the features on this one may not. They might redesign the app with a slightly different way of how it actually works behind the scenes, in which case this probably wouldn't be supported. Now, I'm not sure if there's any way to update the firmware. I can't think of one. So presumably, if that happens at some point in the future, you might need some sort of companion app to work alongside Pokemon Go and this device as some sort of go-between. Hopefully that won't happen, but it is actually a possibility. Now, the other major issue is battery. And now, I've been using this off and on for 18 months, and I haven't had to change the battery once. But this isn't rechargeable, so when I do have to change the battery, I literally have to take the thing apart, take the old battery out, throw it away responsibly, and buy a new battery for it, which is fine. It's like a coin battery. It's like the same type of battery as would go in a watch or like a CMOS battery type. This one has to be charged. Now, it's still. I charged this morning, about 10 o'clock this morning. It is now midnight. And as you can see, it's still charged, even though I was using it for several hours today, which is perfectly fine. But I dare say if I was to use this for another several hours tomorrow, it's probably not. It's probably going to need another recharge, and it's not a major inconvenience, but it is kind of irritating. Look, I'll try and get it out now. Look, it's turned itself on again. It's kind of, there we go. It just sort of pops out like that. But then it goes in this little cradle here. And it's in there, but it just doesn't feel... Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's in there now. And that will charge perfectly well. But it's just slightly cumbersome, and I don't like the feel of it, and it just feels like it's going to fall out or lose connection at any second. It doesn't feel like it's quite in there right, even though it is, and it will charge. It just doesn't... I don't know, it's like a tactile thing. It just doesn't feel quite snug or right or correct being in there. I don't know why, it just doesn't feel right. But it works perfectly well. So that's, maybe that's my issue rather than anything else. I'm going to take this plastic protective thing on it. I don't know why I've kept that on there. Well, obviously to protect it. But yeah, that is an issue. Is the charging? I would much rather it used slightly less power and had a battery that could change. But then I've got to try and get it back into this thing, which is not as good, because although these little charging pins on the bottom here don't look very delicate, I dare say that one false move in the wrong direction might snap one of them, and that's no good. So it is kind of, because it... There we are, hang on. it doesn't take too long to get it back in the strap, but there we are. I think that's it. Yeah. But I would like I say, I would much rather, instead of this strap, it had some sort of belt clip or something where it could just sort of sit down here and do its job. But that's it. I mean, it works perfectly well. It works as good with my phone as the Pokemon Go thing was. I just as the Pokemon Go Plus actually does normally. I just wish maybe it had a few more sort of design features that were a bit better. But if you don't have a Pokemon Go Plus, the official one, then I definitely recommend this one because, like I say, it has all the features pretty much of the Pokemon Go Plus on a software level, certainly. Plus, it also has this extra bonus of auto catching, auto collect. And I'm sure once I get used to all the little vibrations it makes, it will, I won't have to keep looking at it anyway. Now, after reading up on this product on the website, although it didn't look like there was any issues pretty much with Android, it seems there has been a couple of issues using the GO-Tcha with certain models and software updates of iPhone. So I don't know whether that's a major issue or not because I don't have an iPhone, so I can't tell you firsthand. I can only go by some anecdotal stuff that I've seen and from what's actually on the Daytel website as well. Now, I don't know if there'll be some sort of patch or whatever. It looked like there was some sort of software thing available, some sort of update, and I don't know how that works at all. But my advice is if you have an iPhone, probably just double check that it will actually work with the device you've got in your hand. So to sum up, I spent quite a few hours trying to catch Pokemon with this, and it has done exactly what it said it would do. And it's after an initial setup, which took me about 10 minutes to try and decipher how to actually get the device set up the way I wanted it to, and to actually connect it to my phone. Which is another thing. If you already have a Pokemon Go device, I advise you completely clear it off the Pokemon app before trying to put this one on as a device because it didn't go well for me the first time I tried to set it up. But after that, it worked perfectly fine. It caught the Pokemon or they got away. But aside from me actually having to look at the screen, which I chose to do, everything else was very little intervention. Again, there was this issue where it did disconnect and didn't tell me. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me because I've never really taken Pokemon Go as like a serious app that I use. It's more like a bit of fun now and then. But if you were a serious Pokemon player or Pokemon collector, then that might bother you. But that's the only major drawback, I'd say. Again, other than this, the wrist strap issue, which may just be an issue for me. I don't like the way the charger is. I think, but it is what it is, and it does the job. It does, and it does it perfectly well. It just doesn't feel quite right. The strap doesn't feel quite right. I don't like the way it's pronounced out of the top. Because it kept catching on my sleeve. But that's a personal thing to me. That's not, that doesn't stop it being functional in any way. I just think it could have been designed better. But other than that, it works exactly the same as the Pokemon Go Plus, and I'd say slightly better. So, yeah, I would say if you do have a Pokemon Go Plus, but you are a serious Pokemon collector, then you could probably do with buying this. If you don't have a Pokemon Go Plus, but you were thinking about it and didn't want to pay eBay prices for it and couldn't be bothered looking around shops that might still have it in stock, then I'd say buy the GO-Tcha instead. And that's it. If you want companion hardware to play Pokemon Go with, I think this is probably your best option at the moment, even after all the things I've said. I think this is probably still, for somebody that's actually going to play the game quite a lot, or not play the game as the case may be, walk around collecting Pokemon without having to actually do anything, then this is your best bet. I would say on balance it's better than the official one. But if you like the idea of clipping the official one to your belt or your pocket, and if you don't like having to recharge an extra device every day or every other day, then it's probably not for you. That's it. That's the end of it. So yeah, you can buy these online. They're about £30. I paid $28 for mine. I've seen them slightly cheaper and I've seen them slightly more expensive, but around £30, and they work perfectly well. So that's it. I'm not going to bother doing a big ending to the video. I'm not even going to bother putting up the end card with the other videos you may like and the subscribe button, because after going through my usage statistics, after hundreds and hundreds of views on the videos that have those things, one of them has been clicked on once. So I'm not going to bother doing it. It's a waste of 10 seconds of my time every time I upload a video, because nobody's clicking on them anyway. If I start gathering a bit more traction with views and subscribers, then maybe I'll go back to it. But everything I've done is on this channel. I only have one channel, so you can always go through the playlist and have a little look to see if you find if you want to look at anything else. What I will say though is I'm not going to put up a subscribe button here, but there is a subscribe button obviously down below underneath the video. But there is a Twitter contact here, and obviously you can comment if you want to. Now, unusually I don't have anything written in front of me. This is all ad-libbed, as supposed to be a quick video, just off the cuff really. So that could be why everything's a little bit higgledy-piggledy, although I might sort that out in the edit. Which sometimes is good anyway, because it sometimes gives things a bit more of a quirky edge. Because then it doesn't look like, it doesn't look like a seamless, structured thing. It looks more like I'm going, this one up here. No, this one down here. Bananas. And then a wave like that. So doing that, I can edit out all the bits whether I know immediately when I got something wrong or just went off into a tangent. Although on the flip side, it might be fun to leave those bits in, because it makes me look like I'm an actual person. Anyway, so yeah, no end card, but you can still do all the other stuff. So the Twitter, the comments, the blah, 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 blah. So I don't know what the next video is going to be after this. Presumably nobody's watching them in chronological order anyway. That's not how YouTube works. You search for something and this came up. But if you are interested, I can't help you because I don't know. I've got bits and pieces of stuff that hopefully I'm going to be able to string together into something, but I haven't got any one whole video finished yet. But I am back to trying to get at least one uploaded every week, because obviously I've taken a few weeks off over Christmas. So I am going to try and get back into a routine of doing one a week, and yeah, But I'm not sure what the next one's going to be after this, because this probably won't go up until 2 weeks after I've recorded this bit. So all I'll say is hopefully I'll see you in another video, and take care.